All right, let's set the scene. In the giant metropolis that is the modern workplace, there's a new shadow looming over the skyline. It's this massive force with unprecedented power, and it's threatening every single worker in every office on every floor. This is the story of that great challenge, and well, the hero who's destined to meet it. And that hero, it's you.
You hear that? That's not just some random fear-mongering. That chilling message is coming from the very top. It's the kind of threat you'd hear booming across the entire city, not because the economy is in trouble, but because a brand new power has arrived on the scene, generative artificial intelligence. So it's time to meet our villain, the real source of all this anxiety. Let's just call it the AI menace. And its arrival is shaking the very foundations of how we even think about the world of work. So what's its master plan? Well, here's how this villain operates. It's not picky at all. According to Anish Raman over at LinkedIn, if your job involves any kind of manual, repeatable process, you're on its radar. It doesn't care if you're in finance or you're a graphic designer, a recent grad, or a total pro. Its goal is actually pretty simple: automate everything that can be automated. And you can feel the ripple effect, right? It's fueling what Raman calls a sense of fatalism. This feeling that the future is already written, that we're all just kind of along for the ride, totally powerless to change what's coming. And let's be honest, the daily headlines really aren't helping. So you gotta wonder, is this it? Is this the end of the line? Are we all just sitting around waiting for our job titles to get phased out one by one? Is this really the final chapter for human work as we know it?
No, absolutely not. This is where the story takes a turn. This is that moment in the movie where we go from being victims to heroes. It's about turning that feeling of anxiety into one of genuine agency. Look, here's the thing. The future isn't some inevitable thing that's just going to happen to us. It is not set in stone. It all comes down to the choices we make, the beliefs we decide to hold, and the steps we take. Starting right now, today. And that brings us to our superpower. It's called agency. And it's this really simple but profound idea that you are in the driver's seat. You get to decide what happens next. This isn't just, wishful thinking. This is the fundamental mindset shift that you have to make to face this challenge head on.
Okay, so how do you actually use this superpower? First things first, stop worrying about the big, scary, abstract future and just focus on what you can control right now. Get your hands dirty. Start playing with these new AI tools. They're literally the easiest to use tech we've ever had. And try to see this not as the end of work, but just a fundamental change in how we work. In fact, these tools can actually help you get better and maybe even more entrepreneurial. All right, every hero needs a utility belt, right? You need your gadgets. So it's time to stock yours for this new era. This isn't about fighting the machines. It's about having the right tools to work right alongside them. And you know what? This is where we find the villain's secret weakness. See, AI and all the fear it creates is obsessed with job titles. But that's just not how the world really works anymore, and we have to stop thinking that way too. Think about it. A job title is just a label. It's a mask. Underneath that mask, your job is really just a big collection of different tasks. And yeah, AI is going to automate some of those tasks, for sure, but it won't get all of them. And knowing the difference between those tasks, that's your key advantage. For the last 100 years or so, the whole game has been about making humans more like machines. All about efficiency, more, better, faster. Well, guess what? That game is over. The machines won. The new strategy is to let the machines be machine-like while we double down on being brilliantly, powerfully, and, irreplaceably human. So what's in our new utility belt? Well, here they are. Your new super gadgets. These are the core human skills that AI just can't touch. We're talking communication, collaboration, creativity, resilience, and adaptability. These aren't soft skills anymore. They are your most valuable, hard-edged assets in this new world. Okay, so you've got your superpowers, you've got your gadgets, now you need a headquarters, a bat cave, a place to train, to strategize, and to connect with your allies. And for this new world of work, that place might be one you already know, but you're going to have to see it in a completely new light. We have to totally reframe how we think about a tool like LinkedIn. I mean, forget seeing it as this static resume or some kind of trophy case for your old job titles. Instead, think of it as your daily classroom, a laboratory. It's the place where you can learn out in the open, share what you're experimenting with, and see what all the other heroes out there are building. So here's your new mission, should you choose to accept it. Get active, post your ideas, ask questions,
talk about that cool way you used a new tool to solve a problem. This isn't about self-promotion, it's about learning together as a community and getting ready for what Anish Raman calls an entrepreneurial age. Okay, we've met the villain, we've found our power, we've geared up. Now it's time for the final act. It's time to understand our ultimate, unbeatable advantage. Let's be really clear about this. There are no safe jobs anymore. I don't care if you're a doctor, a coder, a waiter, every single job is going to be touched by this massive wave of change. But, and this is the most important part, while there are no truly safe jobs, there are absolutely safe skills, the human ones. And this all boils down to one simple, incredibly powerful idea. And it's the core message from Anish Raman. Your unique experiences, your one-of-a-kind perspective, your creativity, the way you connect ideas. That specific combination is something the world has never seen before, and it will never, ever see again. That is your fortress.
So the real work for all of us right now is to figure out what that means for us personally, to define what makes us uniquely valuable, and then to start building our careers around that. So I'll leave you with this question. What's that unique combination of skills, experiences, and passions that you bring to the table? What is the thing that nobody beats you at?